Okay. So the next thing we want to get into is March Madness. And we're at the championship round right now. And
You hold it right there. That's
okay, so there's the bracket. And the two guys in the championship round are Jock Scott and Terry Landry. And the last what's
Eastern
that?
America's hat.
Yeah. The last round that we did for the Final Four, they were some of the best flies that I have seen. And if you guys haven't seen it, and I'm not taking anything away from the from all of the flies that were submitted, that frog that Terry Landry tied is absolutely insane. And
real quick, how do I see the show specials? Go to the Nor-vise website, and they'll be right there on the top of the page.
Right on the home page, it's the banner, and it says something about we're bringing the show to you. And you'll see a picture with a gold kind of square in the corner and a bunch of different packages. Click on that, and it will open up show special 1, 2, and 3. So that frog that Terry tied is just insane. And we were talking about it all week, and he told me that he had about 15 hours in that fly, from figuring out what he wanted to do to figuring out how to make the feet. The feet are just crazy what he did with this thing. And it's kind of anticlimactic in a way, because the fly that he was going against was tied by Sean Crow, and it was a super cool mouse. And the mouse was just insane, but to have to go up against the frog. And when I posted them on Wednesday, within 15 minutes, the frog had like 120 some votes, and we were watching it for the 24 hours, and I kept logging on Thursday, and I was like, man, he's going to break 1,000 votes, and he didn't get there. He got to just under or just over like 800, I think. But it was just insane. And then on the other side of it, Jock Scott tied the Corona bat, which was a cool fly. And the way that he did the wings, he did kind of the Wally wing style, but he did it he made bat wings out of it, which is really cool. So if you haven't seen the flies, go on to the Norvise Facebook page and check them out. Now, the two winners on Thursday night, I had contacted them and let them know that they won. They already knew that they had won, but they knew on Thursday what the fly was going to be for the next round. And the parameters or the stipulations for the fly, it is whatever they want to tie. And I just sent one message, and I said, whatever you want. And there was no response. There was no anything. And I'm like, maybe I better clarify this. So it's basically, what did I say? I said mano y mano, best on best, head to head, whatever you want to call it. You tie what you think is your best fly that shows off your talents the most. And your competitor is going to do the same thing, tie his best fly and show off his talents, what shows off his talents the most. And we're going to put them head to head. So these guys knew, 4 days ago, what they were going to tie. And I hope that they have been that they've been working on it, and that we're going to see some super, super cool flies. I have no idea what we're going to see.
I got an idea what we're going to see.
I don't know if we're going to see a great big honking bass bug out of spun deer hair. I don't know if we're going to see some type of classic pattern with like a salmon fly or something like that.
They're both in the salmon fly vicinity.
I don't know, but I think it's going to be really cool, and I'm really looking forward to
Terry goes, I choked.
I'm really looking forward to what they're going to do. And it's kind of bittersweet, because this whole thing's going to be over this time next week. Actually, on Thursday night, it's going to be over. So I'm kind of bummed that we're coming to the end, because I've had so much fun with this. And the group, just the messenger group that has been going back and forth, two of the guys, actually the two that are competing in the championship, they're relatively close to one another. They've already made plans to go fishing. Some other guys have made plans to meet up with some other guys from the contest to fish. And we had a 2-day long discussion about scissors last week. So it's just a really, really cool camaraderie type of thing that has come out of this, which is fantastic. One of these two gentlemen is going to win I thoroughly enjoyed the contest. I'm going to miss it too. We're going to do it next year, but we're going to have to wait a year. One of the guys is going to win a $500 Norvise gift certificate, basically for whatever $500 worth of Norvise merchandise, and they're also going to get a contract to join the Norvise Pro Tires team. So, as much as it's fun and as much as we've had fun with it and made friends, we wanted it to be a serious competition. And if you look at the last 4 flies, there is no doubt that these guys brought their A game. So for all of the people that have competed, thank you very much. Like I said, we're going to do it next year. I've already got a ton of ideas of things that we want to do differently. I do want to do a full field, just like the NCAA, of 64 tires. It's a lot of pictures. It's a lot of moving things back and forth. And I've said it every week. Christopher Duggan has been fantastic helping us out with that. So thank you for that. But yeah, we're going to crown a winner here on Thursday night. So I'm going to post your flies, the pictures of your flies, one in process and one finished fly with the vise in it, are due to Chris by Wednesday, 7 a.m. Eastern time. So Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., make sure you have your pictures in. And then I'm going to post them Wednesday night in and around 5:30-ish, 6 o'clock-ish. And then we're going to run it for 24 hours. So if you look at the Norvise Facebook at 6 o'clock on Wednesday night, both flies should be up there, and vote for the one that you think is the best. All right. So that's about it for March Madness. Now we're going to spin up. I've got 3 flies on tap tonight. We're going to spin up a Caddis and then 2 mayfly. They're going to be sulfur patterns, but they're mayfly imitations. If we have enough time. If we're running low on time, I'm going to cut one and I'm going to show you. And we've got a lot of requests for this because some people saw it at the shows that we did get to attend this year. The way that we wrap a parachute hackle using the vise, and it's pretty cool. So let's get to tying. The first one I'm going to do is going to be just a very generic, simple Caddis Fly. So we're going to reposition the camera, and I'm going to get set to tie.
I'll deal with that in a minute.
He called him an Ewok. Okay, how does that look? Does that look close enough?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
That looks pretty close.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. Okay, so I'll spin up a couple of versions of this. These are really quick patterns to tie. So let me see, is that the right one? Yeah,
That's your nano silk.
Yeah, that's the nano silk. Yep. All right, so we're actually going to use the Semperfly. You know that we're
put the lamp on the low setting. Use the high setting.
All right, hold on.
Clear.
Let me get this tied in. That stuff's even hard to cut. Is that better?
That's better.
Okay. All right. So you know that we're fans of the Semperfly products. This is the Nano Silk. This I believe is the 12-aught.
Yeah.
In black, and I would prefer to not use black thread when I'm demoing, but this is the only Nano Silk that I have spun up. So first thing we did is we're just going to tie on at the eye of the hook. Then I'm going to come out and I'm going to get a couple of peacock curls. For this is a size 12 hook, probably for this pattern, maybe a little on the big side. generally a 14 or a 16. We're tying on 12s for the camera. All right, so I got 3 peacock herls here. I've married them together. We're going to tie those on.
Oh, Gary Hankey's watching.
Oh, hey Gary, what's up? Put a half hitch in. I'm going to go on my cradle. Now I want to reinforce this the way that you have you've watched us do before. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to bring it out over the front. Now watch what happens right here. I'm going to spin the vise, and it's going to take that herl, and it's going to wrap it up into a like a herl rope or herl chenille, if you will.
With that nano silk, it's never breaking.
No, it's not. It's not. So now I'm going to come off the cradle, and I'm going to wrap my body back. Got to manipulate around that hook point, and I'm flirting with it. Okay, now I'm going to go right back over top, and we're going to come right up to the eye of the hook. Okay, I've got a little bit extra here, so I'm going to treat it like a dubbing loop. So I'm going to pinch it down here at the bottom.
What scissors are you using?
These are Dr. Slick finishing scissors. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I like and actually I'm going to switch because I want to switch to my Dr. Slick razor, my fine point. I like the finishing scissors because they fit in my hand and I don't have to put them down.
Closer to the fly. You can only really, that'll work.
Okay. And I don't have to put them down, but sometimes you need, these are a little tough to get into some tight places, so I also like my Dr. Slick razor scissors. These are the 4-inch razors. Okay, there's our body. Now, I'm going to use a wing material, and this stuff is manufactured and sold by a buddy of ours.
Left. A little more. There.
Okay. It's called Up and Down Trout. What's it called? Wing material? Up and Down Trout. Okay. And it's basically a synthetic type wing. And you can use it for caddis flies. You can use it for mayflies. And we're going to tie 3 patterns with this tonight. But basically, it's little tufts of this poly material. Okay, and you can use one or both if you want. Depends on the size of the fly. Okay, for this pattern, we're going to use both of them, and they're fused together. It looks like they possibly burn the ends of the tuft together. But our friend Rick Niles, who owns Sky Blue Outfitters, he's a guide in our area, guides on some of our local rivers. He manufactures and markets this stuff. And if you want to check it out, it's upanddowntrout.com. It's updntrout.com. And you can go on and purchase this stuff. There's tons and tons of pictures there that show how to use it. And a lot of cool applications that you can have for it. So what I'm going to do, I want to take my bodkin because sometimes they can get a little bit matted up. Okay, I'm going to take my bodkin and I'm just going to kind of run it through there in the beginning just to kind of open it up and just untwist some of the fibers. Okay. Now for this pattern, I'm going to use the entire hank, and I'm actually going to use this little burnt section here. That's going to be the head of the bug. So I'm just going to take this stuff and I'm going to lay it on the front. Actually, let me turn that over. I'm going to lay it on the front like that, and just like you would an elk hair caddis or any other top wing type caddis fly, just put a couple of wraps right up there on the front, and you can see I got my head of the bug. And that's what's good about this nano silk. It does not bulk up. Okay, now I'm going to go to my whip finish.
Well, someone else just took advantage of the show specials.
Oh, yeah? All right, well, whoever that was, thank you.
Gene Hughes. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Gene. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to clip that. Now, I'm going to take...
From Australia.
I'm going to take one of these little Velcros pieces, and I'm just going to just going to brush this out, this wing material out, just to kind of break the fibers up so that they're not matted together. Now, if you want, you can come out of the vise and you can kind of gather these together, and you can come in here and you can clip them even at the back of the hook if you want. To be honest with you, if I'm tying a fishing fly, I don't do this, but you can if you want to. And there you go. There is a super cool little poly-winged caddis fly that is so easy to tie, it's insane. And this material takes floating very well. It floats very well on its own, but it will take floating very well. You can fill your box up. You can do a multiple different sizes of this, and just a great way to fill up your caddis box. So that's the Peacock Polywing Caddis. If you have any questions on that, fire away. I'm going to throw another hook in the vise here, and I'm going to spin up the same pattern with a different body material. No questions? Everybody's...
Yeah, nothing's coming up.
Everybody's waiting with bated breath. Okay. All right. Let me go this route. Man, it is hard to tie with this black thread.
What, you can't see it?
I can't, with the low light. I can't really see it. Okay.
Does the polywing come in different sizes?
Now it's you can see it's about yay big, so it's good for if you're doing a top wing like a caddis or a stonefly. It's good for about a size 12, which I'm tying here. You can use it for parapost. You can use it for Perdigon wings. So there's a lot of different things you can use it for, but that's the way it comes.
Will these videos be available on YouTube? Yes, it will go up on YouTube.
Yeah, this whole feed will be up on YouTube probably Tuesday, I would say. I don't know if he's watching, but John, when are you going to have this up on YouTube? Okay, so this is a material. It's a yarn type material, and this comes from another buddy of ours. His name's Jim Bensinger, and this is alpaca hair, and he makes dubbing out of it. He makes these kind of yarn ropes out of it. It is Fiberflies dubbing. So you can check it out, fiberfliesdubbing.com. This particular material comes in about 16 or 18 different colors. So it's a really cool material, and you can do a lot with it. But what I'm going to do, this is, I believe it's 3 strand. So I'm going to take and I'm going to separate one of the strands. Okay. I'm going to tie it in. And I'm going to work it back to my tie-in point. Get back up here, get back up to the hook eye, throw a half hitch in it. Oh. All right, now I'm just going to take this, very simple, and I want this body to be tapered, so I'm going to come, maybe not quite that far. I'm going to come about halfway up, then I'm going to go back, then I'm going to go back forward, and I'm just building that reverse taper that most caddis flies have. So it looks kind of like a reverse carrot, if you will, fatter at the back and thinner at the front, which is kind of the opposite of most of our bugs. Okay, so there's my body. Now my auto bob, and I'm right back in and ready to tie. Come in here with my scissors, cut that off. Now I'm going to go in, get another hank of this material. Haha, I dropped it in my wastebasket. And I'm going to brush it out with my Velcro just to kind of break those fibers and get them kind of nice and loose and wispy. Okay, I'm going to use the little burnt piece there for the to emulate the head of the of the bug, and I'm just going to put several wraps right up there at the top. Now, if you wanted to, this is a great like still water or slow water pattern.
That looks really good.
If you were fishing it in faster water, or if you wanted to skate it, you could take and from this point tie a hackle on and put a couple 2 or 3 wraps of hackle on the fly. So that would give you, it would float, it would stay up better in the faster water, and if you wanted to skate it, it would act like legs, and it would kind of steer the fly around. But that's another poly-winged caddis. We're using the alpaca hair yarn that comes from, it is Fiberflies Dubbing. So it's fiberfliesdubbing.com. Bunch of good products on there. Great little website with some stuff that maybe you're not totally used to tying with. So there you go. There's the underside. That's what the trout sees. There's the top. You could always come in here and put like a bright CDC oiler puff or something on there to give you something to see. But remember, that's what the fish is going to see. It gives you a real good caddis type silhouette. Could also do this in black and make a small stonefly out of it. So there you go. Questions on any of that?
Oh, Monahan's watching.
Oh, hey Steve, what's up? All right, let me take a drink. All right, I'll use a different one.
Yeah,
it's all right. Just go ahead and move the camera back, and we'll talk about our next giveaway or contest that we're doing.
All right. Will we be able to use Antron for the body or wings also?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You can. That's what's great about what we're doing here. The tying flies. You can do whatever you want. You can change things to match what you want to do. You can make things look the way that you want. Here's the thing about this whole fly tying thing and so forth. If you have confidence in the fly that you're fishing, you're going to catch more fish. And I have a whole presentation based around this confidence and positive mental attitude and so forth. And there are times where, I'm fishing with Tyler, or I'm fishing with my buddy Ed, or whomever I'm fishing with. And they may have their favorite fly, and I may not like that fly at all. And we'll be fishing in the same area, and we'll fish the same flies, and they will be catching fish, and I won't be catching anything, or vice versa. I'm fishing one of my favorite flies, they're fishing, and it all has to do with what's in here, and positive mental attitude, and really having confidence in what you're fishing is a big deal. So tie the flies, fish the flies that you have confidence in. You're going to fish them better, you're going to fish them more efficiently, and you're going to catch more fish. So, any questions? I saw some stuff going across there.
Shannon just said how alpaca is awesome, and he has someone that gives it to him in huge bags, and it varies in color, and he just loves it.
Yeah, I do too. And that I watched, Shannon, your parachute video where you used the poly yarn for the body, where you wrapped the poly yarn on the body, and you and I are going to have to talk, because I got to get me some of that colored poly yarn, because you can't find it anymore. All right, so as we mentioned, yesterday into today has been insane with the orders and stuff, and everybody woke up. Well, mostly everybody woke up with a nice little surprise in their bank account on Thursday, and I am very, very proud to say that people are. It was a stimulus check, and people are stimulating the American economy, because our sales have been Oh, Whit Delude. That's Casey's sister is watching from out in Oregon. Our orders have been just insane, and we thank you guys so much. It comes at a really good time, having lost the last third or so of our show season, and it just really means a lot. And we're trying to pack an order, another order comes in, another email comes in, and it's great. I mean, it's really what we're looking for. So thank you guys very much. Thank you for stimulating the American economy, because, as you know, everything Nor-vise is 100% USA manufactured. So
Gary said, as a former competitor, they would fish the flies that are provided to the team for hours, like days and weeks on end, to make sure they had the correct confidence in the patterns that they had to fish.
It's so big to have confidence in the pattern that you like. I just saw a little mad face go across and said, "I haven't been stimulated yet." I don't know who it was.
That's Kevin Griffin.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the name, so.
Another guy said he has enough alpaca to last him 1,000 lifetimes, and it's good as a strike indicator.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
If it's good as a strike indicator, it's going to be good as a dry fly.
Yeah, we fish that. We fish that New Zealand strike indicator a lot. That's one of my favorite indicators, and it's they use that's sheep's wool, but it's the same. You could do an alpaca indicator the same exact way with the little tubing.
Takes
and
floating well.
It's a great deal. So yeah, it's good stuff. So two real simple, easy patterns that catch fish that you can spin up real quick and get out and get on the water. So okay, our next giveaway, we have partnered with Fly Lords, and some of you older guys, myself included, probably aren't going to know what it is, and some of you younger guys are. So basically what Fly Lords is, they are an online entity. They have a website. They do a lot of blog posting, a lot of...
it's an online magazine.
Yeah, it's an online magazine, I guess is the best way to put it. They have a ton of followers on Instagram, and we kicked this off last night. Sven Diesel did one of these lives tying on the Nor-vise, and he did a fantastic job. Tied a really cool articulated popping bug. If you haven't seen it, it's probably on Fly Lord's Instagram. Check it out. It's a cool bug. Did this technique called hackle cones, which I had never seen before, and I've watched it 2 or 3 times, and some of my flies are going to have some hackle cones in them because they're cool.
They're easy.
It's cool, and it's easy.
On our vise anyway.
Yeah. It's a cool process, and this makes it so easy. Okay, so Fly Lords. We kicked it off last night, actually, officially this morning. We are doing a three week, is that right?
Yeah, it goes until this. You have until the 7th to submit it, and the winner will be announced on the 14th.
Yeah, with teeth. Somebody just came across. He painted the popper head with teeth in it, so that was kind of cool. So it goes for 3 weeks. Basically, tie a fly. You can take a picture. You can shoot a video. You have to like Fly Lord's Instagram. You have to like the Norvise Instagram, and you have to use the hashtag Norvise quarantine with your entry, and submit your entry. Now, how's it work as far as the judging, Tyler?
So there's a panelist at Fly Lords. There's a handful of people that are going to go through. They're going to choose their top 5 to 7 pictures or videos, and they're going to go and post them on the Fly Lords page. And on May 14th, the one with the most likes win. The goal is to be as creative as possible. So they're going to be judged on a couple things: fishability, creativity. So if you can shoot a video and make it a little bit more creative, go ahead and put a video up, and you have to use the hashtag Norvise Quarantine Contest.
Now, all of this information, including the hashtag and the proper spelling and everything, is on the Fly Lords Instagram page.
And ours. We reposted.
Oh, it's on ours too. Okay. Yeah. So you can check out, and this is a Instagram contest. This is not going on Facebook. We did the March Madness on Facebook, so we're going to hop over to Instagram for this next one. But you can check out our Instagram or the Fly Lords Instagram. You can get the details of all of the specific rules and the things that you have to do. There was a question, a couple of people commented, will it be, can we submit more than one fly? And yes, you can, as long as you're following the criteria, doing the proper hashtags, you can submit more than one fly. I guess we ought to tell them what we're giving away. So if you win...
I forgot. They have to tag us and Fly Lords in the post, too. So we have to be tagged in the picture, and you have to follow both accounts. So if you go and you post it up there, and we're not tagged in it or something, it's technically not an entry. So you got to make sure you hit all the criteria followed and the rules on the Instagram page.
Okay, so it's a bit more in-depth than what we've talked about here. Definitely go to either of the two Instagram pages, read the rules. If you have any questions, really this is more of a Fly Lords gig than us. We're kind of sponsoring it, but they're hosting it. So you can reach out to them and ask them the questions. But everything is on there, the proper hashtags, the proper spelling. So check it out, tie some really, really cool flies and submit them. The winner is going to win a Nor-vise fly tying vise. It's going to be the brass hardware vise. It's a $400 value, and whoever wins it is going to walk away with that Norvise free and clear. So if you end this contest, you don't have to tie on a Norvise. So that's very important. You can tie on any vise that you want, but you're going to win the Norvise as a prize. So head over to the two Instagram pages, check them out, and tie some really cool flies. So if you have any questions, let us know. All right, where are we at on time?
It's 7:36.
Okay. All right. So.
Low setting.
Okay, there's the low. Go ahead and reposition the camera. And I can spin up. I'll spin up a quick Perdigon. And then we'll get into the parachute. Name is Anthony, 11 years old. I love tying flies and love the contest. Like Terry Landry. It went away. I couldn't read it.
Asking if there's a contest for kids. There is no contest specifically for kids right now.
No, but that's a
good idea.
That's a good idea, and that, you know what, that may be something that we that we look into doing here shortly. Okay, I'll go ahead. I'm going to switch over to my Semperfli Classic 8/0 thread for this one. This is red or hot orange thread. If I was tying this as a fishing fly, I definitely would not use red thread, but I am so that you guys can see it. All right, so we've tied on. I've laid down the thread base. We've got a little Coque de Leon. Here, I'm going to pull off a handful of fibers. It looks good. It's going to be my tail. So I'm going to measure up my tail. I want it to be about the length of the shank of the hook. Okay. Now I'm going to lay the tail on the hook at a 45. I'm going to do a soft wrap. I'm going to do a medium wrap. And then I'm going to do a hard wrap. And that's going to walk that tail right up on the top for me. Okay, advance my thread forward a little bit, and I'll reach in here, and I'll cut these butt sections off. Comparadons are a cool fly because they're easy to tie. You can fish several different stages of the mayfly with it and be effective. So with a comparadon or with a parachute, I typically want my post or my wing to be about halfway between the eye of the hook and the point of the barb. So the halfway point is about right there. Okay. And I'm going to use this same material that we used for the caddis. Now, for this one, I'm going to take the tuft and I'm going to clip it in half. Okay.
Got a question.
What's that?
The red thing on the bobbin tube?
It is the handy dandy Nor-vise hackle guard, and actually perfect timing. I've been demoing with that thing for the last couple of weeks, and everybody has been asking about, where do they come from and how do you make them and all that. It's the plastic, the silicone caps that come with the bobbin. So then we got an influx of can I get a couple more silicone caps? So we actually put the silicone caps up on the website as a purchase item last night, and they're up there. They're under accessories. I think I'm going to move them to spare parts. We also put a O-ring refurbish kit. So there's basically 3 O-rings. You got the little one on the back of the arbor, and I know you can't see that, but I'll show you in a minute. You've got the one that's on the friction nut, and then you have the ones that are on the bobbin clutches and the spool arbors. And we've made all those things available as a purchase item. In the refurbished kit, we give you all the O-rings. We give you a garter spring that's right here for the back of the jaws, and a couple of these little screws that always seem to get lost. So it's a good way, if you live in a dry climate, the O-rings will dry out and split, and it's a good way to just, kind of do a little maintenance on your vise. So I've got that wing material tied in. You can see I used the back of the wing to kind of build my taper of my body. Now I've got a little bit of Nature Spirit. This is super fine dry fly dubbing in sulfur. I've got it teased out. Okay. I'm going to spin the thread. I'm going to touch the dubbing to the thread, and I'm going to walk it right up on just like that. Now I want to tighten it up, pinch it here, spin the vise, and it's going to pull down and tighten up my body for me. Now I'm going to reach underneath.
Jake Jordan's watching.
Hey Jake, what's up? You got that wing kind of trapped in there. Get out of there. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to just come on here, work my way to the back, and then work my way forward. And you can see I'm using that. Do the taper. Now I'm going to take this wing, pick it up, get one wrap in the front. Just keep working that in. Get this back where I want it. Okay. Build up my head. Body's a little fat. I probably should have done a test tie of this before I tied it for real. Now I'm going to whip it, cut my thread off, and then I can just come in here and take this wing and just kind of pull it around. And there you go. Easy peasy. That's probably the quickest way to do a mayfly pattern, a Perdigon. You can fish it through the different stages. You can fish it all the way down to the spent spinner stage of your mayfly. It'll work for all of them. So very, very easy, very, very simple pattern to do. Okay, any questions? Everybody's quiet tonight.
What's the purpose?
What's the purpose of the hackle guard? Okay, here, I'll show you. All right, let me get this next hook in. Get it lined up. Is that her?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so the purpose of the hackle guard. So let's say, throw a quick half hitch in there. So let's say I was at the end of the fly and I was getting ready to whip finish. And I did a hackle collar, and I've got the hackle is right up here against the eye of the hook. And I don't want to trap any of the hackle collar when I whip finish. So what you do is you take this little donut, you slide it up the tube, up the thread, onto the fly, and that takes all your hackle fibers and folds them back out of the way. Then I can come in here and I can whip finish, okay? Then I take this, slide it back down onto my bobbin, and cut the thread off. And that's what it's for. And it's one of the coolest things that that you have ever seen. It really makes finishing off a hackled collar fly or even a parachute fly, makes it really, really easy.
Steve Williams from Wales is watching.
From Wales, wow.
Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Australia.
All right. So let me get a little bit of thread laid down. Let me get to the back here. I'm going to use the same material for my tail. So how many guys out there fish with parachutes? There's like 127 guys putting their fingers up.
Since it's dry fly season, can you show the extended body tool?
Probably not tonight, but that is on the list of things to do. We're going to do an extended body night. We're going to do a tube fly night. I've got this week, and then I've got next week for March Madness, and then I'm going to take a break from these, and Brittany is going to do the week after that, and I think she's tying some type of rabbit type jig fly, but don't quote me on that. And the week after that, Braden is on the schedule, and he's going to do something, and I don't know what he's doing yet either. So it's we've got some cool stuff coming up, and it's not going to be just me every week. So what do you got? Question?
No, you're in trouble.
Why am I in trouble?
Someone says they can tell you haven't been using your essential oil allergy roller.
No, I actually have been, and it's been working great. But allergies are really bad.
Told her we don't need any of that voodoo black magic, and Mama says it's the devil.
Actually, it actually has been working out well.
And Braden logged on just in time to see that.
Oh, yeah. All right, so same material. Okay, I'm going to lay this down.
Keith goes, is there any question what Braden's tying?
Well,
I bet it's big and has a shank on it.
Well, let me tell you, Keith, Mr. Braden tied some nymphs today, and I mean real nymphs, not, game changer nymphs and stuff. He tied some real stonefly type nymphs. All right. Don't get it. Not that much. So that's what I'm going to use for my post. Now, the biggest thing with a parachute, and the biggest mistake that I see people make, is they don't post the post enough so that it's stiff, so that it will stand up when you go to wrap the hackle. And I'm going to show you a cool way to wrap the hackle on this fly. But when you get your post on and get it standing up, you've got to take several wraps around the base, and I'm failing miserably at this, around the base of the post. And what I do...
I'm going down and dirty on my live with jigs for salmon and steelhead.
Who said that?
Brittany.
Oh, okay. So I put a wrap on, and then I hold the post, and I just give it a little pull. And I put a wrap on, and I hold the post and give it a pull. Put a wrap on, and I'm doing that, and I'm basically just stiffening up the bottom of the post. Now, I watched...
Can't see it much, your hands.
I know, but I have to do it this way. So I watched Shannon Messer tie a parachute the other day, and he did something really cool. He took the vise, he turned it so about a 45-degree angle, maybe even a little bit more, so the parachute is facing him, locked it up with the friction nut. Now he can take and he can wrap the post this way. So I'm wrapping around the post, but the post is facing me. And you can get some good wraps on there and get it good and stiffened up. And then you can turn it and get back up to the vertical position. So let me throw a half hitch in here. I'm going to go on my cradle. Let me tease out a little bit of dubbing. Maybe not quite as much as I did last time, because I way overdubbed that last pattern. It takes a couple. You got to tie a few to get the size and know how much dubbing to get and all that. So there's my dubbing. I got it teased out. I'm going to spin the vise. I'm going to touch the dubbing to the thread. I'm going to walk the dubbing. Oh, hold on. Get on there. There it goes. And I'm going to walk the dubbing up the thread. And I think that's going to do well. So I'm going to pinch it here. I'm going to spin it, and I'm going to tighten everything up. Now I'm going to come off the cradle, and I'm going to work my way to the back of the fly. And then I'm going to start working forward. And one thing about doing a parachute is if you put the parachute all on the top of the fly, you get away from that nasty bump at the bottom where you get a lot of material bulked up. Okay, so there's my post. I've got my tail, and I've got my body done. Now I'm going to whip finish. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to cut my thread off. And that's the point when I'm demoing this that the people around the table are like, oh my God, you shouldn't have cut your thread off. You still have to wrap the hackle. Well, I'm going to wrap the hackle, but I'm going to show you a way to do it in the vise that makes wrapping parachute hackle 100% easier, in my opinion. Okay, now, when we talk about spinning and the axis of rotation, remember, the top of our jaw sets our 0, so we want the hook shank level and even with the top of the jaw. Well, it's not just the hook shank that will rotate on center. Anything that we can put in this center axis here is going to rotate on center. So what I do when I'm wrapping my parachutes, take the fly out, invert it 90 degrees, put it in the jaw so that the parachute post is right above or right in line with the top of the jaw. Clamp my jaw down. Now my parachute post spins on center. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my thread, I'm going to tie, get up here at the top of the post. I'm going to tie back on to the post. This is why you need a good stiff. Okay, I'm going to clip this off. Come in here with my fine points. Okay, now, there it is. Got a piece of hackle. This is a Whiting 100. All right, I'm going to prep this, so I'm going to take and I'm going to very carefully stroke these fibers back. Very cool. Never thought of doing that. Yeah. Okay, so there's my hackle. That's the dull side facing you. That's the shiny side. All right, I'm going to prep this. So I'm going to cut a little bit off the bottom.
We gained another viewer.
Oh, the dog's looking at us through the window.
She's laying down, watching through the.
Oh, she is? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so you can see where I prepped that. Now, you want the shiny side facing the post. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to spin this around. And I'm going to put this little prepped section of feather right up against the post on the side of the post facing me. This is one of the hardest parts of this, is to get that. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put several wraps on it. I'm going to get that good and tight. Okay, now I want to throw a half hitch in there. So this, you got to get the half hitch to go through. And I'm half hitching the same way I do on the hook shank. The thread is coming off the bottom of the post. I put my finger in it. I make a loop. Now the thread's on the top of the post. I make one rotation. Now this is the hard part. You got to split the post and the hackle. And then I'm going to pull it tight. Now I'm going to take my thread and I'm going to put it on my thread post. And I need my hackle pliers. And I'm going to come and I'm going to grab. John Harlack is watching.
Do you prefer Whiting over Metz? I'm really liking the whiting stuff right now.
Yeah, let me
It's
I'm kind of at the point of no return here, so let me get this wrapped first. And there you go. See how that's forming? You're nice, super easy, and I'm just holding a little bit of tension on my hackle pliers, and I'm just wrapping this post down to the body right there. Now,
Shannon says you can put 1 drop of head cement at the bottom of the post and stiffen it, which keeps the post from moving while you're wrapping the hackle.
There you go. Good point. Good point. So now I've got my my hackle is wrapped around the post. Now I'm going to come back in with my auto bobbin, and I'm going to take and I'm going to fish this through. So I'm working my way down, and I'm going to get all the way down to the bottom. Now I'm going to put 3 wraps under the feather. I'm going to come in with my whip finisher, and I'm going to whip this right to the base of the post. I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to clip my thread out. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to clip my feather out. So I'm not going to clip. I'm not going to close the scissors. I'm just going to open them up, and I'm going to just kind of saw this back and forth because I don't want to clip any of that hackle off. And there you go. There's your nice parachute. If you want to come in here and clip your post down a little bit, you can. Like so. Remember, you can always take it off. It's kind of hard to put it back on. And there you go. So that's a really, really cool way to wrap the hackle. If this were a fishing fly, I would have used probably a sulfur color, like a 12-aught nano silk.
Gary just said if you use the 30 denier, which I think is their 18-aught,
okay,
it almost completely disappears.
Yeah.
So if you have like their sulfur, or they have like, it's called primrose, but it's like that yellow color of their 18-aught, you're never going to see it.
Yeah, and I definitely would have done that if it were a quote-unquote fishing fly. You can see the thread bulked up a little bit at the bottom of that parachute, but I wanted you guys to be able to see how that works. Now, when you are fishing a parachute fly, and it's a store-bought fly, what is the first thing that fails every single time on a parachute fly? It's the hackle. And the reason that the hackle fails is because 99% of the people in the world, in my opinion, tie it in the wrong way. And what they do is they tie in on the post, they wrap the hackle down the post, and then they tie off to the front of the shank of the hook. Okay? Even if you glue this post, or if you stiffen it up, or if you do, however you tie a post, that post is constantly moving back and forth. No matter how stiff you make it, it's constantly moving. So you've got a post that your hackle is tied around that is constantly moving, and then you have a tie-in point that is rigid. So if you think about it, if you take a paper clip and you bend it back and forth and back and forth, back and forth, eventually it's going to break. The same thing happens when you tie your parachute hackle off to the shank of the hook. So this way, we're tied onto the post, we wrap down the post, and then we tie off on the post. So the parachute and the hackle move as one unit. So that post can move all over the place.
Yeah, so Steve... All right, it's back up.
Okay, it's back up. So I don't know what happened, guys. That happened a couple weeks ago. It just dropped out. So, I'm flying blind over here. So, the post is moving.
It flat out says broadcast interrupted too.
But the post and the hackle move as one unit. So this fly is going to be 100 times more durable than a fly that you're going to find in any that you're going to buy at any fly shop bin. And wrapping a parachute is intimidating for some people, and rightfully so. It is a technique that you have to practice at. But setting it up and using the center axis of rotation so that you can wrap the hackle the way that I just did. You don't have to do the hand over hand. You can just hold the hackle steady and just wrap it down. So you said Steve Williams had a question. What was it?
The question was, should you go and tie the feather in before you go and turn it? And I think you, before you turn the hook, and I think you answered that with wanting the feather to be one with the post. That way it moves and it doesn't break. If you tie it in before you do it, it's tied to the hook and it's not going to be able to flex, and you're going to go and it's going to break easier.
Yeah.
And sooner.
Yeah. No, I like to tie onto the post, wrap down, and then tie off on the post. So apparently we've only got 7 viewers back, so that kind of sucks. I don't know why that happens. Well, if any of the 7 of you have any questions, please feel free to let us know.
Went from 107
100
to 7.
How many? 170?
170.
To 7. Yeah, that sucks.
Oh, we got 11.
11. All right, we're back up to 11.
This one isn't shared in all the groups, so that hurts a fair amount of the viewership.
Oh, this second one. Yeah, okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, if you have any questions, there you go, Carl. I just did your parachute. I hope you saw it. Now we're back up to 24. What time is it?
8:02.
8:02. All right, we'll hang out here. That's about all we have for tonight. We'll hang out for another couple of 5 minutes or so to get some people back on if they have any questions to let us know. So 3 flies using 3 different ways to use this up and down trout material. This is a fantastic material. Go to his website and check it out. We also used I got to put my glasses on because I can't see it.
Fiber flies.
Fiber flies. Jack Garrett is watching. Fiberflies.com.
Gary Hankey said the clink hammer wing tying procedure always ties the hackle into the post.
That's where I learned it from. Because I've watched his videos.
And you learned it from Gary, or
no? I learned it from Hans. That's where I learned to tie. But I didn't do it. I always did it the old way, wrapping down this way, until I started tying on the vise, and then I actually saw somebody else do a parachute that way, and I'm like, oh, cool, I can do that. So
I know
that's when I started inverting the hook and wrapping, using the axis of the vise to wrap the hackle.
You lost your connection, and the answer about the hackle is if you tie it in before you turn the hook, it is locked to the hook and it doesn't allow it to flex, and it can break sooner because that's your weakest point of the fly is the hackle.
I like inverting it, having the hackle sticking out. Then I can work on the hackle post the same way that you would a hook shank, and just tie it right on there, half hitch it, and then wrap it down. It just, to me, it makes it easier that way.
So maintenance video anytime soon?
Yeah, the maintenance video. So here's what we're going to do with that. We're trying to set this format up so that I talk a little bit and then I tie, and then I talk a little bit and then I tie. So in the beginning, the past, all of them, we've talked about the March Madness contest. And next week, we'll talk about the winner of the March Madness, and we'll tie a couple flies. Once we get through the March Madness, one of my talking points will go away, and then we are going to do a video or a live feed, if you will, of maintenance. And I don't want to do an entire live feed of me talking because people sign on because they want to see me tie. So what I'm going to do, we'll do a little bit of maintenance, and I'm kind of figuring out how I'm going to break this up, but we'll do maintenance on like the jaws, and then I'll put the jaws together and we'll tie fly. Then we'll do maintenance on the vise body and we'll tie fly. So I'm trying to space it out so we have about 50-50 talk versus tie. And when we're doing the March Madness, I can't do the maintenance because it'll be such a long talking video. But yes, we are going to do that. We're going to do the tube fly. We're going to do wrapping the wire body nymph. We're going to do the extended body tool. We're going to do that at some point too. So yeah, we've got a lot of stuff that we have on the list. But yeah, the maintenance is coming.
So the finals for the fly tying, the March Madness, the finals are this week.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Norvise only sell the spring-loaded bobbin? I have 8 total, but 3 springs are too weak.
Send me a direct message on that.
And check the direction that your thread's coming off, because a lot of times if you think the spring is too weak, the thread could be coming off in the wrong direction, and that's why you're having retraction issues.
The other thing, and this is a good one, if you tie with a lot of waxed thread on the bobbin frame, especially where the thread goes up into the tube, you can get a bunch of wax buildup in there, and it basically you're trying to pull your thread through the mud, so to speak, and your bobbin won't retract. So two things: check and make sure that your bobbin is on correctly because they are directional, or rather your thread is on correctly because they are directional, and check and make sure that you don't have wax buildup in your bobbin tube. You can use isopropyl alcohol. You can drop the frame in there and it will dissolve it, or they do make a super micro pipe cleaner, but make sure you get the one that doesn't have the little metal studs sticking out. It's just the pipe cleaner with the fuzzy stuff on it.
So the hackle question was Whiting or Metz? Doc Whiting has his stuff dialed in, man.
These things, these Whiting 100s are tough to beat. It's tough to beat these right here. I don't have to size them. I can just pick whichever one I want. I know they're expensive, but you can get a lot of flies out of one of those. So, and to be honest with you, myself personally, I don't tie a whole bunch of dry flies, and there's a reason for that. That would take too long to get into. Our local rivers, and when I say local, I'm saying the ones that are within 20 minutes of the house, we don't get a ton of dry fly action on them. We don't get the hatches the way that you may think
real
of.
Trout rivers.
Real trout rivers. So that caddis and that Perdigon, that is basically my dry fly arsenal. I can tie them. I do demo them a lot. I don't fish them a lot because our rivers aren't set up that way. If I lived in Central PA, or
where the green drake hatch,
yeah, if I live there, or if I live down in the if I fish the Smoky Mountain National Park, or some of those other areas, I would definitely do more of that. But for me and for what I do and the amount of dry flies, this stuff is tough to beat.
So Hans said he wanted to thank us for promoting the Thursday night fly tying for Fly Fishing Bow River Outfitters in Alberta.
Oh, okay. Well, Tim is a team guy now.
Yeah. Uncle Pat goes, can you tie one that looks like a nightcrawler?
Like a nightcrawler,
yeah, we can. It's called either a San Juan worm or a squirmy worm.
Yeah, I can tie one that looks like a nightcrawler. That's my brother who's a gear fisherman, so he's a great fisherman. He just doesn't understand fly fishing.
So he's still one of those like Neanderthal guys?
No, he's a good fisherman. I won't fish behind him. That's for damn sure. But he fishes ultralight spinning gear and little spinners, rooster tails, and Panther Martin spinners, and he's really, really good. He just doesn't get the whole fly thing.
Do we do any dyeing of hackles?
No.
Tried it once, made a mess. Didn't really feel like doing it anymore.
I don't
dye
go
every color under the sun now that you really need. So
I don't really go to that level. It's honestly, it's hard enough for me to get down here to just find some time to tie flies. So to do and set up and dye and all that, it's not my thing. All right, anything else?
I think that's it so far. We're back up to 60.
Yeah, that's good for having lost the feed. I don't know why it does that.
Well, we didn't reset the router this time.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we should get in the habit of doing that. All right, guys. That's about it. If you have any questions, or if there's anything that we didn't cover or anything we didn't get to, I go back and I look at all of the comments after the fact, and I try to answer all the questions that we get to. So if we missed your question, I will answer it on the comment section, and you can always email me, tim@nor-vise.com, or you can email Tyler at nor-vise.com, or send us a message here on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. So plenty of ways to get a hold of us. So thanks, guys. Have a good week, and remember to vote on the March Madness on Wednesday night.